Okay, I guess I'm live. This is a new program I'm using. I'm using YouTube, which I don't normally use, so it took me a little bit to figure it out, but we got it. And today we're going to be working on the January photo, and I've chosen a name Snowman Build Fail. And the first thing I'm going to do is start making a new file. So I'm just going to up to File, New. I like to work in the 8x10 size. All right, so I'm going to do 8x10. Usually my width is at 4,000, height at 5,000, resolution will be at 300, and I'm going to make my background transparent. I usually work in the Pro Photo RGB. And so yeah, I'm going to name this one Snowman Build, oops, except I need to spell it correctly, Fail. And yeah, we'll call it that, and then I'm going to hit create. All right, so now I need to go into my Lightroom and select all of my photos for this one. Sorry, my dog's whining is distracting me. All right, let's go into my Lightroom. Okay. My screen is like super big here. Let me fix that. Try to fix my screen so you can actually see my Lightroom. It's because it's like a double wide monitor. All right, so that'll work right there. Okay, so I have all of these photos. I took all of these last year. I think I selected a few. Let me just see what I flagged here. I've got the sled, the shovel, my daughter. Okay, yeah, there's a few that I still need to go through and select here. So I'm gonna go to filters off here. Okay, so for the hill, I think I like this one too, so I'll pick that. I've got some moodier clouds up here. I'm just not sure which one, maybe this one here. So pick that. What's this one look like? Yeah, I think I like the kind of wispy, that really, the wispy clouds really remind me of winter. So I'm gonna go with that one. And I have the shovel and stuff picked. So for my daughter's photos, let's see. I'm probably gonna pick a few different ones and possibly like kind of stitch her together. It's loading pretty slow here. I kind of like her arm in that one, so I might pick that. Facial expressions great in that one. I kind of like her legs in this one, so I'll pick that. Uh-oh, my computer is running a bit slow. Hopefully it won't be too slow. for our streaming today. Kind of like her leg in that one too. So I'm just gonna go through and pick a bunch of different ones that I like, different hand motions and feet motions and things, and just see what we want to do here. I basically just had her stand and spot in one place and march, or like just pretend like she's running. And okay, I like her facial expression in that one too. Oh my god, yeah, we have some really silly fun during these photo shoots for sure. All right, I liked that one. I think I flagged a few of her as well. Just let it load here for a second. Oh my gosh. She just goes so over the top. I love it. Okay, I just want to double check this is the expression I want. Yeah, I think that one's good. It's not as over the top as some of these other ones. All right, and I know for sure which one of my son I want because my daughter kind of helped lift his leg up. He was not happy about that after, but see, he was a little bit grumpy. He's like, how dare you do that to me? He's so cute. All right, flag some of these snowballs. I have a few different ones. I don't think I'm gonna need more than that one. Okay, all right, so now that I have my photos kind of chosen here, I am going to start with the background. So I'll bring the sky in first. Oh, right. Lightroom doesn't let you drag and drop stuff. So edit in Photoshop. Okay, we'll switch back over to my other screen here. Okay, so I want these wispy clouds to kind of be up higher. So what I'll do is I will go layer, duplicate layer, and put that on the one we opened. I'm going to right click this and I'm going to say convert to smart object. Hit Control T to bring up your transform tool. And we're just going to transform this. I'm actually going to unlock it here at the top and just kind of figure out where I want the placement of these clouds. We're probably going to have to lighten this up a whole bunch as well, but we'll see. All right, the next thing I want to do is kind of bring in my hill of snow and open that up in Photoshop. All right, and there it is. So same thing, we're gonna go up to a layer, duplicate layer, and bring that over to our snowman build fail. Okay, and again, we need to right click and convert it to a smart object. I'm gonna hit Control T to kind of transform it. I might lock it for this one though, actually. Actually, no, I can't. 'Cause, yeah. So probably right about here. I'll do that. I don't want too much of the blurry hill in the background, so just kind of stretch it up a bit. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of lower this opacity and kind of blend in the sky here on this one. So we'll bring up, go to your sky layer. Let's actually name this sky and name this one hill. So we'll go to the sky layer and we're gonna add a layer mask on there. Go to our brush. You can also hit B to bring your brush up. And we want to make it a really soft brush. Just go to soft brush and a little bigger. And you can resize your brushes by hitting your bracket keys. So your left bracket will make it smaller and your right bracket will make it larger. And you know what I did? I put this on the wrong layer, so I'm going to delete that. We want it on the hill layer. So put that on the hill layer. And with a black brush, we're just going to brush away some of the sky. And I'm going to lower my opacity and my brush size as I get closer to this hill here, just to kind of blend that in. Okay, let's see what it looks like. We'll bring the opacity of that back up. And I'm just going to disable the mask for a second. And you basically will right click on it on the layer mask, and that's where you bring this up. And we'll enable that. Okay, so right on this hill, I don't want it on the mountain part here, so I'm gonna bring up my whites and kind of bring that back a little bit. And I might just kind of do a little bit more work here. So yeah, we definitely want to bring the sky up a little bit because it's way too dark. So let's bring up a brightness and contrast layer, and you want to right click to clip it to your sky. Okay, one sec, my dog is being silly. Why is it that puppies always want to chew the things they're not supposed to chew? They like have, they could have as many toys and chew toys as they possibly could need, and they still chew the wrong things. All right. So I'm just going to bring that brightness up on that sky. The problem is I want the clouds to still be visible, so I may have to do a little more blending on that layer mask a bit more. Okay, so let's just lower this even more, and we're gonna bring it back a bit right here because I want it to kind of slowly blend in. So that looks better for sure. All right, I like that. I like that. So we'll leave it like this. And I'm going to go back onto this layer and just kind of clean up some of these dirt with my quick mask, or I guess you can't do that on a you'd have to render it. Oh, you can. So if you double click on this, so what I did was I just went and double clicked on the mask here. Not the mask. What am I trying to say? The layer, but it's a smart object. There we go. It'll bring the photo back up, and then you can actually make adjustments on it. So I'm going to clean up the dirt on this. Okay. My screen is really dirty. All right, so just clean those up, and now I'm gonna close it. It's gonna ask you if you wanna save. You'll say yes. And then there we go. It's cleaned up on our edited version here. All right, so I will close this. I don't need this anymore. All right, so I'm gonna just quickly save this. I like to save a lot because I've had instances in the past where I did a ton of editing and then my Photoshop like crashed on me and I lost all of the work I did. So I never want to repeat that again. So I pretty much save it after any time I make like a major adjustment because I don't want to have to like go back and fix it later or like redo the work I did. Oh, it's like so gut-wrenching when that happens because you like spend hours on something and then you lose it. Oh, it's the worst. Okay, so the next thing I want to bring up from my Lightroom is probably this snowball. So I'm going to bring this snowball in. Okay. So now that I have my snowball in, what I'm going to do is kind of get my quick select tool, and I'm just going to select the snowball and the foreground of the snow because we'll probably have to blend that in a little bit. So I'm just going to do that, and we'll make my brush smaller and deselect just some of this bit here. And I don't worry too much about my selections because I'm probably going to have to go in and clean it up again later anyways. So I don't worry too much about it when I first bring it in. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control T, or actually, we'll just forget about that for a second. We need to turn this into a smart object. So again, I'm going to right click, convert that to a smart object, Control T, and we're actually going to flip this, transform, flip horizontal. Yeah, because as you can see, not only the hill's going in the same direction now, but so is the light because the light is hitting the background right here and it's kind of going this way. And our snowball, it's the same, that the light is shining on this side. It's not as like bright of a light, but yeah, still the same direction. So we're going to hit Control T and we're just going to hit Control Z if you want to take a step back. We want to lock this one. And I'm just going to bring this snowball kind of down. I'm just trying to figure out, because I want to have the snowman's head like around here, and my other daughter is going to be running away in this direction. Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm going to do that. Just trying to figure out the best placement for this. feel like I need the foreground. I actually need the foreground of the snowball. So kind of do maybe right there. All right, so we'll hit enter there. And I'm just gonna kind of blend these corners right here. So again, we'll bring up a layer mask and my brush, and it will be a black brush, and we're going to put it maybe at 50%. And I'm just gonna try to blend these in a little bit here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'll worry about the rest of the cleanup later. And this definitely needs to be brightened up, this layer. So again, I'm going to bring up my brightness and contrast, and we will clip it down. And I'm going to just bring up the brightness a bit on it so that it matches this highlight right here, or similar. There we go. Okay, so now that I did that, because this part is still a little dark, I might just check that blending a bit. Blend it in a little bit better. Bring up my black brush again, and we're just going to kind of blend right in there, and a little bit more right here. Actually, I might just bring a bit of that back. There. Okay. This one's gonna be so silly. It's gonna be very silly. All right. We'll see. So the snowball may have to get resized a bit. We'll see once we get the rest of the excuse me, the rest of the stock images in. And I will offer these stock images so that you guys can like practice creating this one on your own, or if you want to make it for your portfolio, you just need to link my social media or my Patreon to your post. So it's at Gets Left Photo pretty much for everything. All right, so the next thing I want to do is bring in some of the stock. So first off, we're going to bring in the shovel. Okay. And I'm probably going to add a few other things, like probably from Pixel Squid, but that might have to be in the second part of this. I'm pretty sure this edit is going to take me longer than one live. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so basically I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get my quick selection tool, and we will select this out. Oh, had it on the wrong one. And I might just bring up my lasso for the rest of this. So we're just gonna hit Control. Which one is it? Shift. Sorry. Shift to add to it. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of this snow and add to the selection, if it will let me. There we go. Add a bit more. I want to have as much snow as possible, just so that I can blend it in really well. Okay, so now that I've got that selected, we're just going to go to the move tool and cut it out and drag it up to our snowman. Again, we want to convert this to a smart object, and I did that by right-clicking and Control T to bring up the transform tool. And this is going to be pretty much on top somewhere, or like something like that. All right, and then again, we're going to bring up a layer mask and our brush, a black brush, and I'm going to put this to 20% just to kind of blend in the snow around the shovel and get rid of that line. And this shovel will have to get lightened up for sure. I'm just noticing we're gonna have to flip it. So I'm just going to apply this mask for a second. Actually, I'm just gonna delete it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the shovel. I forgot to do that. So Control T. And I have to flip it because the light, you can see it on the handle, is shining in this direction. And it just makes it easier to blend it and make it look realistic if you have it the correct way. I will show you how to paint in shadows and stuff if your lighting doesn't match and you need it to be a specific way. But for this one, I'm going to just flip it. So we'll go Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. And I'm just gonna, again, like rotate it this way. Hit enter, and then I will again apply that layer mask, and at 20% just kind of blend that line in, and I will lighten the shovel up a little bit. Okay, so that line is blended in. I'm just gonna again bring up my brightness and contrast, right click, and then create a clipping mask to that. Okay, and oh, I guess I need to use it over here. There we go. Just brighten some of that snow up. So it was matching pretty good at the top. So I might just lighten this part up with a brush later. But right now, let's just try blending it a bit more actually, because maybe it might help to make it look like this is the shadow of it. Yeah. So that looks good right there. All right, so this was our snowball. Ball one. Okay, and this is our shovel. Okay, now the next thing is the sled. I can't believe I photographed these photos a year ago and never did anything with it. I have so many different photos sitting on my computer that I plan to edit but just haven't done it. So doing these live streams is going to be really good because it actually will get me to edit some of these old ones, which I'm super excited about too. So I'm really excited about this. All right, let's grab that quick select tool again. I knew it was gonna grab a whole bunch. All right, gonna have to be a little more, give a little more finesse there for this one. So much smaller selection tool so that we can try to grab just the rope. You know what? This might be a really good, I'm going to deselect this. This actually might be a really good one to say, you just unlock it here and let's see how remove background is. So I unlocked the layer. I go to this like little properties panel and you can say remove background. Let's see how well this does. Because the background's pretty blurry. Oh, there you go. The only thing I would do with this is kind of just clean up this edge right here and add a little bit more of the snow in there. So you go onto the little layer mask that it's applied, and I'm gonna go in with my brush at 100% and just brush in some of this snow back in. So that we can do like the blending that we've been doing. So just that, and clean up with a harder brush. I'm gonna say around 80%. I'm gonna fix up some of this rope. And the side of the because it has trouble selecting like highlights sometimes, so we gotta just clean up this highlighted edge here. Okay, I'm gonna go to a black brush and just clean up this bit here. Okay, so that's good enough for that one. And we're just gonna drag this layer over to our snowball layer. Okay, so the lighting, Control T is, actually, sorry, before I resize it, right click, convert to a smart object, Control T. Now just trying to figure out where we want to put the sled. The string wouldn't be floating that way. So maybe we so right there, it's too small. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's going off the page. I may or may not keep the sled. It might just be a bit too big. So right now I'm just going to turn that off. I'll keep it in here, but I'm going to turn it off because we may or may not keep it. The other option would be what I could do with the sled is actually have it coming out behind the snowball and going a different direction, like maybe my sun's gonna be right in here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this one's really gonna be able to work for this. We'll get the rest of the stock in and then we can play around with that. So I'm just gonna turn the layer off. That was the sled. Close this. Nope. Nope. All right. So the next one, why don't we bring my sun in? I might just resize the snowball to be a little smaller. Because I want to have enough room for my daughter over here and my son up here, and you know, I have other things that I want to add to this one. All right, and I'm going to add, like, maybe I'll do that later. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to add some motion blur, but I think I'm going to change my mind on that one. So the sled might work now that I've got this resized a bit. I have to have enough space for my daughter to be in the snowball, so maybe like right about there-ish. Still, I'm not sure. I'm going to turn the layer off. Okay. So we'll bring in, I think we'll bring my son in first. So find his photo. So basically what my process is I like to bring all the stock in, and I don't really worry about like trying to match them or anything. I always do that later. So we're gonna select my son here. And I think I'm just going to, again, grab the quick select tool. All right. Make sure that my selection is good here. Oh, all right. So we'll bring up this one and just kind of deselect my daughter here. I remember him saying, "Ash, you almost made me folded." He didn't fall in the snow. He almost did. You almost made me folded. All right. We'll drag him over. So again, pick the move tool and cut him out and bring him into here. All right, we will convert him to a smart object. Hit Control T to resize him. And kind of find that proper angle. So I might have him holding up here, just so I can see more of his leg. Okay. I think I'm just gonna actually drag him and just bring him behind the snowball. And quickly just paint his hand back in by going to the shovel here. And I'm just gonna lower the opacity. And paint his hand in. Oops, I think I painted in some of the brown. Okay. Okay. Now I will go back to my sun's layer. Oh, I guess I should put the opacity of that back up. We'll go to my sun's layer and we will clean up his shoe here a little bit. And get rid of this. Okay. Just bring up a brightness and contrast one, clip that to there, and just bring up his brightness. And I'm going to also bring up Puppet Warp on him. Now, I like his hand placement. So, we're gonna put a pin right where his hand is so it doesn't move. Maybe right here. And we're just going to kind of bring his body up. Oh, that means that my layer mask isn't gonna work on him. And then I just want to bring his leg out a little more. Okay, so I'll hit OK on that and we'll just delete this layer mask. And bring a new layer mask up so we can paint some of this out. Okay, that looks really cute. Okay, So we'll leave that there like that, and I really don't think I'm gonna have room for this sled. Yeah, it's just gonna take up too much space. Like your eye is gonna go straight to that red sled. So I'm gonna delete it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna save it again. File save. And we will close this one. Don't need that anymore. Okay, and let's bring in let's bring in the two of my daughter who's gonna be in the snowball. So we're gonna edit her in Photoshop. So I'm actually like gonna bring up a couple of her because I like her expression in one, but I like her hands in the other one. So I'm going to kind of do a head swap. All right, so bring this one layer, duplicate layer, and then bring it onto the other one of her. We're just going to lower the opacity on that and turn it to a smart object. Control T and resize her. Oh, my Control T is not working. It does that sometimes to me. Why? There we go. Okay, we just need to move her. Just trying to match up like the jacket, for example. And she's gonna need to get rotated a little so that matches up. There we go. Okay, that's lining up pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter there and bring, oh no, I turned it into a smart object. Ugh. Okay, perfect learning lesson for you guys. Do not lower the opacity before you turn it into a smart object. So let's see if we can just rasterize the layer. Nope. I'm gonna have to redo all of that. So layer, duplicate layer, and this one, turn it into a smart object first, then you can lower the opacity. Control T. Now I'll bring this back up and we'll put a layer mask on it. If you hit Control Backspace or Alt Backspace, it will, if you're on the layer mask, you can switch back and forth to a black or a white, just completely filling in your layer mask there. And we'll bring up our brush and we're just at 100%. With a really soft brush, we're going to bring in her other head with a white soft brush. And just paint that guy in. Okay, the only thing I need to fix here is the collar on her shirt. Okay. All right, so before, after. Okay, so we're gonna flatten this and we will go layer and then duplicate the layer onto our snowman. Okay, and right click, convert her to a smart object. Control T will resize her. She's gonna have to be pretty big here. Okay, I'm just gonna hit OK on that for a second and lower her opacity. Okay. Okay, Control T. I'm just gonna figure out which direction do we want her to be. That's kind of funny because then she's basically, if you think about it, she's screaming because she's seeing the ground coming straight for her face. All right. She does need to be a bit bigger because otherwise she's about the same. You know, I need to make sure she's going to be the right proportions compared to my son, for example, because they're so close and he's littler than her, so right about there. Bring that back up to 100%, and I'm going to bring up my layer mask again on this, and just at 100% with a small black brush, a soft black brush, we're gonna paint away some of the snow around her and just kind of blend her into the snowball. And probably Control Z. I'm just gonna bring up and make my brush a bit harder so that, because this mound of snow would be in the foreground, so I just want her foot to be kind of behind it. And soften my brush again. Oops. All right, so we need to bring back some things here. So I'm gonna go up to a harder brush, like around 80. And we're gonna paint around this foot here, just because it wouldn't be... You can hit X to switch between your color palettes here. Okay, and now I'm going to go to my white brush and paint her foot back in. And same with this hand here, because I can tell it got kind of soft. Her head is fine. This foot could probably have a better blend behind that mound of snow. All right, I'm gonna go back to my soft brush and lower my opacity to like 40. And kind of paint these footprints out. Blend that a little bit more in there. Okay. is turning out really funny. I love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna see how my blend looks, and I'm just gonna turn my layer on and off. Okay, just kind of blend it a little more. I don't want those footprints to be in there because they wouldn't be in there, would they? Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to find like a textured brush. Let me just kind of figure out which one I want to do. Let's go to my other brushes and see what kind of I have so many. Maybe a splatter brush would work. Let me see. That's all my paint. Splash brushes. No, these paint splatters are too much like a paint splatter, so that's not gonna work. I thought maybe something like this one. The other option I might use actually is just my chalk brush, which I do like to use a lot. Just kind of make this bigger, and we'll go to the brush options here, and I'm gonna change the size jitter a bit, angle jitter, and let's do a little bit of a scatter. No, I don't want texture. Transfer, let's see, opacity jitter would be a good one for sure. Flow, yes. I'm going to add on the buildup. All right, so now I need to just kind of paint away some of her, because we need to make it look like she's trapped in this snowball. I feel like this texture brush is working pretty good. My chalk brush, I mean. Okay, something like that, but I might get another texture brush, and we'll just see. Maybe I want to bring back some of this here. Just bring back like, oops, some of her coat. Now you can hit Control Z if you do something and you don't like it, and just keep hitting Control Z till you get back to where you like things. Now I'm just going to make my brush smaller and kind of make this a little harder of an edge because it's supposed to be like super packed snow, right? Just kind of clean up some of these edges a bit. I thought I would use a different texture brush, but I don't really think I'll need to. You know, I probably will make some touch-ups later. All right, so roughly like that. Okay. And I'm going to save that. All right, we can close these ones. All right, so since I'm running out of time and I have a lot of arms and legs to Photoshop in for my other daughter, I'm gonna call it quits here, and I will definitely be coming back on again, possibly again this week, but if not this week, 100% again on Monday to work some more on this live. So I hope to see you there, and thank you so